Today we're gonna do our WWE 2K23 predictions, giving you some early predictions of what we think we're going to see in terms of a reveal for the game, when it could be released, legends, all my early predictions for the game. Let's get started. Of course, going through all of this, I need to know in the comments your early predictions for the game. Coming up on the new year, Happy New Year everybody, but I'm gonna give you my early predictions of what the whole timeline could look like for this game. Just have some fun today. So I think the first initial reveal for 2K23 is going to be Friday the 13th. Friday, January 13th, I think we're going to get a coming soon trailer. Something small with some real life footage of superstars, maybe of your Bianca Belair, Roman Reigns, or the showcase star themselves, whoever that may be. We'll talk about that in a second. I think similar to 2K22's initial coming soon reveal, where it was Ray doing a 619 to Cesaro. I think we get something like that Friday, January 13th. It says coming soon, and then followed by stay tuned for a full reveal at the Royal Rumble, which is the second prediction. I think we get a full gameplay trailer reveal at the Royal Rumble Saturday, January 28th. I think that gives us a little bit more in depth of what the game is going to look like. We get little sizzle reel trailer of the in-game itself. Maybe it hints at a match type, but I think a straight up gameplay trailer, sizzle reel trailer that's 60 seconds long is what we're going to get at the Royal Rumble after that. And I think in between the coming soon and the Royal Rumble, I don't think there's anything, because it's going to give guys like me enough time to speculate and get hyped for what we could see at the Royal Rumble. Coming back in January, I think 2K needs to get the hype train, the marketing train going. And so you have that coming soon. Then you give it a little bit of breathing room. Then you're going to give us a full reveal trailer at the Rumble itself. And then they get into full swing for marketing the game throughout February, which is where I think in February, what we see every single week is going to be the superstar ratings reveal. I think we get every single week that covered. Plus, I think we could see maybe 2 dev diaries for the game. I think we get some sort of interview, sit down dev diary with Brian Williams, discussing some of the new updates to the game. I think if he gives us 1, maybe 2 of those dev diary sit downs where he's answering questions, somebody is doing a little bit of a high level interview, he's not going to give away a lot with the game, but I think he'll give some inclinations as to some of the updates we see for like GM mode or showcase mode or some of the match types. So if we're getting that every week in February with a few dev diaries and the ratings reveal, towards the end of February, maybe the first week of March, we get another trailer for the game. That trailer being kind of the large one that will go through more of the in-game footage, talk about the showcase star and the pre-order bonuses for every version of the game. The big final hyped up trailer. Because as they're at the last week of February, well, they got to start getting those pre-orders in. They're going to want to make sure that they're hyping this thing up in full force, because my prediction is that we're going to see a release date for the game March 14th, 2023. That's a Tuesday, and then I think that is going to be your early access availability for the game, followed by the full release on the Friday. If you pre-order the game, I think you'll get it on the Tuesday the 14th. And if you don't want to pre-order it, I think then you'll get it on the Friday. I say that because the fiscal reporting for 2K was showing that WWE 2K23 was going to release in March. And so just sticking with that, and when 2K22 released, it kind of lines up, and it's right before WrestleMania. So to pause there for a second, what are your early predictions for kind of the release cycle, the reveal trailers, all of that? When we talk about showcase star though, I've talked about this a lot. I've had a lot of comments on this of what we think the showcase star, who it might be. I'm kind of narrowing this thing down. I have my favorite picks of who I want it to be, and I think it's going to boil down to 3. Just my straight up opinion on this. I'm voting for, as number 1, I'm going to say The Undertaker. I think because we had The Undertaker retire in June of 2020, we had the Last Ride documentary, and then we had him go into the Hall of Fame in 2022. The Undertaker has had a 30-year career. So I think with that, and you can mine a million matches and a million different things from his career, I think you are going to get a 30 years of The Undertaker showcase. You could say 30 years of WrestleMania, 30 years of The Undertaker, but that's my number 1 guess. We could get so many different attires like we've seen in 2K22, and on one hand it's kind of a bummer if that was the case, because we've already had numerous release versions of it, but they can rehash those ones, they can add in more. Most importantly, you could get a lot of different alternate attires, entrances, arenas, venues for his opponents over the years. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, the different WrestleMania arenas, some throwback matches from the 80s and early 90s. There is so much you can grab from not just Undertaker, but really his opponents he's faced. My other 2 picks, my runners-up, it would then be Edge. And I say Edge because he had the giant return at Royal Rumble a few years ago. They did a lot of documentary stuff with Edge. And I think because he's had all of that time back in the ring, having huge matches and big moments, you could really mine a lot from his past, particularly from the Rated R Superstar era, his World Heavyweight Championship runs, to his return at the Rumble, and a little bit beyond that, even up to his latest matches, latest run as leader of the Judgment Day and then getting taken out by the Judgment Day. Similar to Rey Mysterio, where we had the showcase matches lead all the way up to almost a modern point where he was taking on Seth Rollins, Dominic Mysterio was in the mix. They modernized it a little bit with the showcase, and if they follow the same pattern, that's where I see Edge. They follow his World Heavyweight Championship run through those years up until his most recent run. Then they can pull out attires and entrances for Judgment Day, for example. My third pick in there, Randy Orton. Just because he's had a tremendous career, 20 plus years, he has been killing it. You can do RK Bro finally as kind of his recent run. It's really unfortunate that he's injured, but you can mine a million different things in there. Evolution, his world title runs, feuding with Edge, feuding with John Cena. You can really grab a ton from Randy Orton as well. All 3 I'd be happy with. What are your picks for Showcase? Okay, getting a little bit more down into like match types and rosters and all of that. Looking at the female side, I think we're gonna get more female legends in the game. Female superstars from the past, like your Michelle McCool's, the Bella Twins. I think you see Ivory, Molly Holly, and others. From the current crop roster, we'll talk about a few honorable mentions and people that we're not too sure about. We'll talk about them in a second, but I think you see a little bit more on the women's legend side. To me, that has to do with the previous Royal Rumble that we had. We had a lot of returning women that came into the women's Royal Rumble match to really fill it out, like a Melina, for example. I think we do see a lot of them get added into the game. For the celebrity side, I think that we get Bad Bunny available in the game. We had that recent picture of Triple H and Bad Bunny posing together, the rumors of the commercials being done that was reported by PW Insider. I think Bad Bunny shows up in the game. He was in the Royal Rumble. He's had matches, he's been entertaining, and they're going to do more with Bad Bunny is my hunch. So I think he's going to be in the game. The other celebrities I think we see are going to be Johnny Knoxville because of his match with Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. And I think we see Pat McAfee finally be a playable character in the game, which would get a lot of people excited. I don't know if he would be somebody that you would have available right away, but maybe you add him into like a celebrity pack for DLC where you could have a Bad Bunny, Pat McAfee, Johnny Knoxville, and maybe some celebrities from the past. Because if you add Pat into like a DLC pack, I think he would be like almost your headliner. People will really want to play as Pat McAfee. He's had a bunch of matches, so I think you're really going to want him in that game, be playable character, especially his last performance at WrestleMania. But him in a DLC pack, that would get people to buy that DLC pack just to have Pat McAfee, in my opinion. Now, mentioning Pat McAfee as a playable character in the game, I don't see him as part of the announced team. I think they go with either the 3-man booth that we've always had, or I think that they strip it down and we just get a 2-man commentary team of Corey Graves and Michael Cole, who are now the commentators for premium live events. So the major live events, it's just them two. And I kind of hope that they just have the 2 of them and they update the announced team's commentary lines as well. Now for entrances and like music and stuff, I don't have a lot to say here other than just a few things that popped off my head. Like, I think we see entrances and fixes for the music of like Triple H. His entrance drove me nuts. I'm a huge Triple H fan, and his entrance was off in 2K22. I think 2K goes back and they adjust these things. They make sure that the music and the entrance motions are accurate for superstars. Triple H technically retired at WrestleMania. He put the boots in the ring, so I really feel like kind of got to do it justice by giving us Triple H proper entrance fixed. And when I say music, Stone Cold Steve Austin had his giant return match against Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, and they've always put in the older Stone Cold Steve Austin music, the older like 90s one, and I'm not a fan of it. I want his updated one. So you get the standard Tron that they give us, but with Austin having a giant return at WrestleMania, that matters a lot. And I think you need to not only include Austin's entrance, his ATV entrance too needs to be in there, and some alt attires for him. but give us like the current Stone Cold Steve Austin music. It's just tweaked subtly. It's the same theme song, but it's a little bit more enhanced. But what are your predictions, early predictions for 2K23? I'm excited. Let's have a conversation. Hit me up in the comments, let me know. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button, the like button, all that good stuff. I will see you on the next one. Bye.